Sparking Change with Gigi, a show that aims to make the world a better place by bringing together authentic minds. This show encourages each of us to be the change we wish to see in the world. Get ready to be inspired and join us on this journey to create a brighter future for all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sparking Change with Gigi. I'm here with two of my guests, they're sisters, and we're going to be talking today about cultivating a positive mental attitude for success. I do know for myself that, having this positive mental attitude came in very handy in my life as I went through my own journey for wellness and being positive and always looking for the good in things versus always looking at the negative part of situations has brought me better results. So I want to talk about a little bit. There's what Napoleon Hill says, and I'm going to bring it up. He says positive mental attitude is the right mental attitude in all circumstances. Deafness of purpose with a positive mental attitude is the starting point of all worthwhile achievements. For myself, I know that having a positive mental attitude when I was ill, I had to have a burning desire to be alive, and I did. And having that burning desire leads to only thinking of ways and having the will, creating the will that you're going to have a success, which whatever it is that you're doing. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on the two lovely ladies, Molly and Amy, who can, hello guys.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome. I'm very grateful that you're here. And, this is one of my favorite topic out of all the principles, because I know it's the driver that gets us results when we have the positive mental attitude. Can you, Molly, can we start with you? Can you share with us what's your point on just overall on positive mental attitude for success? Because I know you're going down a path of really utilizing that for a particular journey you're on.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's so great to be here. Thank you so much for having us, Gigi. And
My pleasure.
my name is Molly Croker, and I'm here in Nebraska. And how has positive mental attitude helped in circumstances? Well, number one, I think it's in our blood, and you'll realize that Amy and I are sisters, and we're very close. And we often get confused as one another. And I hope that's because not only by looks, but honestly, by how we treat people, how we show up in life. It's, like I said, it's in our blood. It's from our mom and dad. And how has positive mental attitude? I think we've just always known when things don't go your way. I remember early on, I didn't get into grad school the first year. This is just one circumstance I can think of, like the very first year, right out of college. And thank goodness I didn't get into graduate school right away. I was brand new married. I was overcommitted to studying, and I don't know how our marriage would have survived almost 30 years actually this month if I would have started in graduate school right away. So I knew that there was a reason. And even though, maybe I laid on the floor and kicked and screamed for like a whole 20 seconds because I was 22 years old, I knew. I was like, all right, God is going to give me something even better. And I'm going to learn from this opportunity, and I'm going to grow. And I think now, knowing 30 years later, right at the age of 52, I'm like, I love those little setbacks, if you will, where you have to say, okay, what's the good that's coming? Because that's what's happening. It just sets us up for even more good. So positive mental attitude it's always the right attitude to have, because great things, we always say, things are always working out for me. I just repeat that, even if it might not look like it from the outside, to always just say that things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me.
Because naturally we want things to work out for us, right? And
Exactly.
It's just, and keeping that positive mindset. Amy, yes, tell us.
Yes.
Welcome.
I'm sorry, right, like Molly mentioned, being raised by amazing parents that really taught us that positive mental attitude. I have a similar story of you with health. And I know we've talked about this a little bit, but my child I was given a 100% chance that he was going to have severe delays, seizure disorder that was medication resistant called Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, and was told to just go home and plan for a life of constant care and disabilities and medication and seizure helmets and all of that. And that is where I was reminded really that we all have the power within us. That positive mental attitude is within us, but everything, we all have it, each and every one of us. And I chose to bring that out and believe that my child was going to be healed, that he was going to be a miracle. It was a long journey, many years, but I just dropped him off to college to play baseball today. And so it definitely was that what the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
Absolutely. And literally you went right into the next question. Are there any moments when you felt tested in your commitment to maintaining a positive mental attitude? And you said it very beautifully, right? We do get tested in life. And just having it's really understanding, what do you want, right? If you can say, what do you want? And say, this is what I want, and follow that and make that decision that you will not accept anything else. Because that's essentially what you did, Amy. You said, no, I'm not going to accept what you're saying. And I did the same thing with my own health, right? I was like, no, okay, I know this is a journey I have to follow, but I don't have to follow all the rules here. I can make up my own rules based on what I want, right? And you did that, and your results, you succeeded. You succeeded. So congratulations on that. I definitely want to tell you that. And Molly, I'm sure you had some times in your life where you were tested. You get tested, right?
Oh goodness, absolutely. So many times. And I think specifically, I want to make this like pertinent to everyone, but maybe you're in business and maybe you think your business is going to be at a certain level. I know I did my business. I'm a sports medicine physical therapist by education, and that led me down a health and wellness company. And I thought my business would be, it grew quickly, I think because of who I was and my background and my degree. But then I thought I would be further ahead, right, than where I was a year in. But if I could have seen the whole picture, I call it a divine delay. I didn't realize that where I thought I would be in a year was actually going to take me 14 years. Well, in the end, no one cares. It's like running a marathon. Nobody says, oh, how long did that take you? Like people are like, wow, you ran 26.2 miles. That's amazing. No one ever thinks, oh my gosh, really? It took you X amount or X amount. No one cares. They're just like, that's incredible that you did that. Same thing in business. If you're not where you want to be in business, you just have to have the right attitude, a positive mental attitude, and not Pollyanna, not like you're ignoring the facts. You can still have a positive mental attitude and still have some strategy, because I still have a really, one of my strong traits is strategy. You can still have that and have a positive mental attitude, but I just needed to take a step back, put on different glasses, and see, like, this is such a better journey. It's a better story. I've helped more people because of it, especially if you've been stuck and you thought, you kind of cap yourself in your business, and put a lid on it. That's kind of what has led Amy and I to our coaching business. Is we want to teach other people how to be successful, use these principles, because it's what we've used in our businesses to grow and become the people that we are today.
I know that sometimes, we stop, we have that thing that we stop 3 feet from gold, right? Because we are coming to a struggle or something that we think we can't handle. But when you have a positive mental attitude, you start to connect with people. Like people, you attract people and things and what you need when you are open with a positive attitude, right? Because attitude to me it just opens doors to, one, get get people to, you're connecting with people that can help you, which your struggles now become opportunities because now you know where to go. And Amy, yes, would you like to talk on that point as well?
Absolutely. The struggles are, I think, starting your day with gratitude. I know we all do that. Because you can get up and think, oh, goodness gracious, this is what's going on, or this is what's heavy on my heart. But if you start your day, and I think that 5 o'clock club is so important. I see most people who are very successful get up early and start with that quiet time. And they start with that positive mental attitude. They start with the gratitude and just always seeing the best. And it doesn't have to be when you're going through hard. You can also, what I did with Charlie is I envisioned him well. So my gratitude was, Charlie is pitching today. Well, he wasn't walking at that point, but I envisioned it. I used my imagination to envision it. And that's what I would do. I would, even though there were struggles, I maybe had a pity party for about 3 minutes. And then I put my big girl pants on and I imagined him pitching in college.
So Amy, I just have to tell you, there's something about you today that you are just like hitting it right on the nose before the question comes. So you got some, and I love it. Are you like behind the scenes somewhere here? But so true that if you can see the end, you will get there faster. You will get there with less. You'll be shown the way, right? Because we learned that we don't really have to know how. We just have to make a decision, a commitment, and have a burning desire to do it. I know for myself, when I went from corporate America to becoming a special ed teacher, like I had a burning desire. You spoke about your son. Same thing with my son. My son drove me to say, oh my goodness, a special ed teacher did all of this for me. I'm not satisfied with what I'm doing. I'm not gaining anything from working in corporate America. There's no satisfaction in this. So here I am working full time and then going at night and going to school so I can get my master's in education. When I started working with kids with disability, I was filled with joy, and I still am because I still do. But now I know that burning desire drove me. I wasn't thinking about the late night studying, the no dinner, having a nap in the car before I get to class at night. All of that didn't matter. Like I knew where I wanted to go and what the goal was. And I visioned myself in the classroom, working with kids, like you say, is visualizing your goal, and role playing. I love Napoleon Hill emphasizes the importance of visualization. And we're sharing, obviously, like how we can visualize and role play in our mind over and over again what we want to achieve and who we want to become, right? Because the best part of achieving our goals is who do you become as you're going through those steps, because you're becoming a better version of yourself, and we know that. So Molly, you want to talk a little bit about that?
I'm sitting here even visualizing it as you speak. In 4 weeks, I have Ironman, and it's something, I have this memory. I mean, I can close my eyes and see it. And it's my very first race, my very first triathlon as a young mom. And I've got my baby girl on my hip, and I finished, I've got a medal, and she's 10 months old, and now she's 21. And so knowing, like, I visualize like her putting, which normally they don't allow this in races, but I know the race director. So putting the medal on me, I can visualize Sophie doing that. And I'm thinking, she was a baby when I started all this, and now she's 21. And I hear my name, and I get emotional when I think about it, because I'm like, I'll even, isn't it great that Instagram can pull up videos and it knows what you're thinking? Because it pulled up some Ironman videos today, and I watched this 75-year-old man cross in such a cute way. And I was like, oh, that's the way I want to cross. But, I hear my name being called. And I think about that when I'm swimming, because it's a lot of training. And when you're hours and hours on the bike, I just hear my name being called, like, congratulations, Molly Croker, you are an Ironman. And it's just like booming. And, if I slow down and say it, I'll be saying it crying. So I'll spare you all the tears, but I see it. And it's, and I look at my vision board right here. It's been on my vision board for so long. And that's really what I always tell people is you visualize it. And it probably is, Napoleon Hill talked about visualization, and he also talked about goals, but just because you don't meet your goal doesn't mean you change the goal. You just change the date. And I just had to do that frequently because of kids' activities and just busy life. I couldn't take on that amount of training when my kids were where I thought they needed to be when I thought I was going to do the race. So his timing is always perfect.
That's beautiful. And Amy, would you like to share something else on that?
Well, I will tell you, Molly's not going to toot her own horn, but I would, to be clear, I just would love to share the, Molly thought she thought she was going to complete an Ironman, which is how many miles, Molly? I don't even know. A full marathon, 26.2 miles running,
112 miles biking, and a 2.4 mile swim.
So all of that at the same time, not over 7 days, or 7 months. But I love, and I know this is how I felt with my son's health. I know it's how you felt with your health, that Molly thought she was going to do it at age 40. And now at age 52 is when she's accomplishing it. Talk about that being 3 feet from gold. Just never quit. Never quit. Adjust your goals, adjust your sail, but don't ever give up, because we know that from your greatest setback comes your incredible comeback. And it's almost always just 3 feet from gold, 3 feet from your goal. So
absolutely
don't give up.
Sometimes it's that inner voice, right? This is, I'm tired. I can't do this. This is too much. And, then you're hearing other people saying, just let it go, do something else. And so really staying in touch with yourself and listening to your own intuition, your own little voice that guides you forward is essential in anything you want, to achieve, because we're truly the only ones who can say, yes, I'm going to do it. No, I'm not. I believe it or I don't believe it. Right. So you set the tone, or you set the motivation, but you must have a goal and a direction that you love. Because if you don't love that goal, you're going to lose that motivation. You're going to lose the desire, right? I mean, we studied that. We have to fuse with it. Right now, I know for me, wellness is my ultimate goal, to help people really understand how they can take control of their health, right? And I'm like a perfect example. That's what I did. When I see others, saying, oh my God, the doctor said this, oh my God, I have to do this. All the news said this, and everything's on the television, and this is what we heard in the past. And it's I think we have to learn how to just close that noise down and say, you know what, I'm not that person. I'm my own person. So maybe I can beat the odds, right? And give yourself the believing that you can do it, right? So we're going to take a short break, and we're going to be right back. And when we come back, we're just going to talk about how we can, how also negative attitude can really hurt us, right? And staying positive is just essential, because it can kill our dreams if we don't. So we'll be right back. And here we go.
Now, the vast majority, approximately 95% of the people of all countries, go around and around without aim or purpose. They drift with the circumstances of life, good or bad.
A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind.
Whereas the successful individuals create their own circumstances and ride them to victory.
When you're on purpose, you're living on purpose, you will never quit if you have a real purpose.
A burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from which the dreamer must take off. But what I have done has been recorded, it's been tested, it's being taken to a free world, and it's going to benefit millions of people who are not yet born.
And it's going to benefit millions of people who are not yet born. We're some of those people. That we're spreading this to the world. As your awareness grows, the doubt is gone, so that you can manifest whatever it is your heart desires. Isn't that beautiful?
I just love that commercial. Every time I think about it, because, you know, becoming aware, that's the other thing, is becoming aware of the words that we speak. Are they positive or are they negative is extremely important, because we really see, I know, we all know, that sometimes the results we have in our life is because of what we're saying, the attitude that we have, right? And speaking, you know, when we only look at just, I mean, we learn that there's the law of polarity, right? We understand that there's an up, there's a down, there's a light, there's a dark, there's the opposite in everything that we do. We smile, we're happy, we're unhappy. Positive mental attitude, there's negative mental attitude. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, when we get stuck on the negative side, we know the results are never good. Mm-hmm. There's nothing positive about being negative at all, right? And so let's just talk about that a little bit, because I know for myself, when we get into the reasons why we are not positive is because we have worry, fear, and doubt about something that we're doing. We're looking at the outside and saying, oh my God, that person's failing. I'm going to fail, without even giving yourself a chance, right? So we're comparing, essentially. That creates, I believe, a negative mental attitude. We're really not looking within, we're looking outside of us. And that's where the negative comes in. So Amy, would you like to share a little bit on that point?
Absolutely. I always say comparison is the thief of joy. And it is really easy, I think, with social media. If I'm in real estate sales and have been for years, and several different businesses. And when I compare myself, if I let myself go there, it takes me to a place of negativity. It doesn't serve me. And so I am someone that stays in my lane. I keep my head down. I say that the saying is, you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with the most. So who are you surrounding yourself with? And I think that's why we're all friends. Of course, Molly and I just love to hang out with each other, but that's how we met, is because we are in the same group of positive, free thinkers, of people that it is joy and love and limitlessness. Mm-hmm. And
right. That's we're missing, I think, when we're on the negative side, we're kind of missing some of that, right? We're just saying, because we might be surrounded by negativity around us. We might be just looking at really not studying what we're studying, the importance of understanding and becoming aware that you can achieve what you want. And we get negative because we don't see anybody else doing it. But surrounding yourself with the people that can cheer you on and let you know and support you that there's no reason why you can't achieve your goals is essential for any type of goal for life. And Molly, do you want to speak on that as well?
Well, I love in the video when it says, as your awareness grows, the doubt is gone.
Yeah.
And I think so many people don't know they're being negative. Maybe they don't even have awareness that they are.
Right.
They're, sometimes we say unconsciously competent, but they're unconsciously incompetent. They don't even, they honestly aren't even aware, and they don't realize that they're attracting all the things that are coming at them. They don't think that, But because they're in that spiral continuously of, oh, that works for her and not for me. Oh, that's because they have this and I don't have that. It's always coming from a space of lack, but they don't even know. So I think as your awareness grows, you become more positive. You understand that law of positive mental attitude is only going to attract good things to me. Just and both Amy and I, obviously, like being sisters and literally raising our kids together, it's our kids know, like they know you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. And I was having a conversation with a dear friend the other day, and she said, you know, the best thing you taught me about marriage, Molly, is you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. And everyone knows that's Molly's mindset. Like, I've told so many friends that, and it's neat that you can even have a ripple effect like that just from teaching people about, you know, if you're the most positive person in your group, it's probably time to find another group.
Absolutely. And, you know, we'll go back into, you know, when you're surrounded by positive people, right, you just get great ideas, right? We get all the ideas of how we can achieve something versus how it's, you know, versus the opposite side, how we can't achieve it because of this, because of that. And I think also knowing that, you know, you mentioned that sometimes we don't even know that we're being negative, and that is truly sometimes because of our belief system. Right? We're surrounded. We inherit a lot of things from, you know, not just the characteristics of our blue eyes and blue hair. I mean, then blue eyes and dark hair and blonde hair. We inherit also beliefs from our families, right? Our ancestors and grandparents. And so if they had, you know, negative beliefs, we got those. And that's how you said, Molly, sometimes we don't even know we have them. And we need to be super aware of what we're saying. I remember someone telling me this story about a mom, and I know I'm probably going to mess it up somehow, but I'm going to try not to. Like the daughter asked the mom, why do you cut the ham every time you have to put it in the pan? Like, you know, she was cooking ham. And she's like, I don't know, ask grandma. Grandma, why do you cut the ham every time you got to put it in the pan? She goes, I don't know, ask great grandma. And so she goes, great grandma, she was still alive. Why do you cut the ham every time you got to fry the ham? Cut the ham every time you got to fry it. She goes, because the pan was too small. So, you know, it was like, that was a belief that the ham was not good around the edges, but that wasn't the case at all. So using our belief system, you know, examining like the belief that we have that create the negative aspect of a mental attitude is essential to say, did you create that belief? Because if it's someone else, you inherit it. So let go of it and work towards the positive side of things. Right, Amy? What do you think?
Yes. And to that end, Molly and I were raised by a mother who she's been diagnosed with breast cancer twice. And we were having this beautiful conversation with her. I think as our parents age, you just value the time that you have with them. Her mother passed away of breast cancer when my mom was 4. She was raised by a single dad. And both times my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, she has had a double mastectomy. She said, it never crossed my mind that I'd die. Didn't even cross my mind. Where I think a lot of people, when they hear the word cancer, they immediately think of the worst case scenario, right? Yeah. So we have a nearly 80-year-old mother who's like, didn't even cross my mind. So like you said, we have been raised this way and have raised our children. It's been a blessing, not that we haven't had severe challenges and in our life, but we were raised by parents that do that serve, and they have that positive mental attitude. And it's been an absolute blessing.
I must meet your mom one of these days for sure.
You would love her. You would love both of them.
Yeah, it's the truth, because I remember myself switching from, you know what, I'm not going to accept that because that's not me. That could be someone else. That could be what statistics are showing. But I could be not part of that statistic if I don't want to, but I had a burning desire. Never did I focus on that part. I focused on getting well and getting back to work. And also knowing that when you have that positive mental attitude, your perception of any situation, this is not just about my health, but I believe that when we're faced with challenges and adversity, and you take a positive mental attitude, your perception of the situation changes. You're no longer see yourself as the victim of the situation, but you see yourself as, okay, what lesson must I learn from this experience? And for me, I see my experience as a gift. It was a wake-up call. I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing right now if I didn't say that experience had led me to be where I am and on my mission to help others really look at the positive side of every situation, because there is a seed of benefit with every adversity, right? And Molly?
I'm just trying to, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a whole lot to comment on there. I think that's just a perfect example with what Amy shared about my mom. I mean, it doesn't fill in the blank, right? It doesn't have to be health. It can be whatever. But
Yeah.
if, we all know from Napoleon Hill, adversity will, it just makes you stronger, and you have to expect adversity. And so when you expect it, you can just give gratitude for it and move forward. And again, you have to have awareness though to be able to do that. So.
And I definitely agree with you that, and Amy, you mentioned it before, is that a positive mental attitude goes together with gratitude. Mm-hmm. Like they go hand in hand, because when you're grateful for whatever is coming to you or whatever you're faced with, and you accept it, it's leading you down the path of better things, right? Being negative and say, why me? Why do I deserve this? It keeps you stuck. It totally keeps you stuck from not moving forward. So and here we go to the next question. It's a mindset change for sure when you are, in that positive mental state. Overcoming setback as an integral part of personal growth. Can you encounter setback or failure that you turn into a learning opportunity through the lens of positive mental attitude? Amali?
I think there's been lots of instances, whether it's racing, whether it's, setting the goal and not, thinking that was going to happen 12 years ago. I don't know if you'd really put that as a setback. Not getting into grad school my first year and thinking, oh my gosh, all is lost. And, lo and behold, I needed that time as a newlywed to actually have a solid marriage, to walk into grad school a year with, a good year of marriage under my belt. And like I shared even earlier with the business of thinking you're going to be at a certain level before. And that's just something to really, really remember. And if you expect it, it's not going to just take you off course. You're just going to, we call it a rubber butt mentality, right? You're just going to bounce right back off your rubber butt and bounce right back up because you're expecting it. Like if it was easy, we always say, if it was easy, it would be sleazy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. If building a coaching business was easy, everyone would be doing it. If doing an Ironman, the statistics on a marathon are 3% of the population do that. Of all the people in the world, 3%. So, I mean, Ironman's got to be about a 0.01% then. So, having a rubber butt mentality of, I'll be honest, I had a few races, the last few races, it rained sideways. It was raining so hard. And some people quit racing. And I thought, well, what am I going to do about it? I've traveled 20 hours to race. And what am I going to do? Just stop, just quit. And it made me another principle. My persistence just really came out because I thought, you know what, I'm going to keep going, even though there is rain that is hurting my eyeballs, physically hurting my eyeballs, even with glasses on. Mud, I hate being muddy, and mud up to my knees and putting on muddy cleats to go bike and your feet are just full of mud. Like there's nothing worse than that, but just knowing, well, what am I going to do? I'm here, I've done the work, and I'm going to finish this. And I'm
Quitters never quit and winners never win, right?
Yes, exactly. And so, and being resilient too,
Absolutely. And it's that will, right? The will and the desire that, yes, I'm going to do this. I don't care if it rains. I don't care if it snows. I don't care what comes down. No one's going to get in front of me to stop me. And, I have to say that is like such a strong internal desire,
Yes.
right? When you have that and you're saying, there's not one thing that's going to stop me. And I know that, there's situations in our life where we have a burning desire that we can see the benefit in it, and all looks good. Let's say buying a dress, for a wedding, like you have a burning desire to go buy that dress, right? You're like, I'm gonna figure out a way to do it. I don't care if I have to sell and go on eBay. I don't care if I have to do this or that. I'm gonna get this dress for this wedding because I want to look good, or for your high school reunion or something like that, right? And so this is, if we act the same way and behave the same way for a goal, for your definite purpose, you're going to achieve it. Mm-hmm. It's just that we choose, right? And this is another thing, like we learned about today, is we have the choice. Do you want it or don't you want it? Because if you really, really want it, your will get strong. When there's a way, there's a will. I always said that, and Cleona said that in our study club today, right? There's a will, there's a way. And that's what creates the positive mental attitude, because you won't accept anything negative that comes against it, right? So, Amy, would you like to speak a little bit about that?
Absolutely. For me, mine have been a little more life happening. I did walk through a divorce that was really, really challenging. And I was a single mom for many years. Financially, I knew when we parted ways that I had that burning desire. I knew I had made it once financially. I did give everything to him, and I knew that I could make it again. I knew that God would provide. And so I have just been at that point. I always say, when you're worried about your bank account, go serve. And I began serving like crazy, doing mission work. In my business, I helped mentor many people in the real estate business. So I served them, and I have been incredibly blessed by doing that. So, and I'm incredibly grateful to my ex-husband for the beautiful children, but also some really wonderful times in our marriage.
Yeah, I definitely want to I agree 100% about serving, because when you are feeling down and out, go serve. Mm-hmm. You look at someone else and you say, you know what, I'm so grateful for what I have. And I truly believe that's even like a mental attitude shift, because when you're thinking negative and you're thinking you don't have enough and you're thinking of lack, like Molly said, then you go look at other people and you start to, shift your thinking and saying, I'm really not that bad. This is really not that good, not that bad for me, because you're serving and you're offering your service to others. So for me, that's a good tip on how do you switch from a negative mental attitude to a positive mental attitude is go serve. Mm-hmm. Go serve, go give yourself to others, and you will see how quickly your mind will change. I know a lot of people are shy. They don't want to, be out there. But we are made to connect with each other, right? That is why we're here. And the connection with each other is what really helps you to even shift the negative mental attitude. It's having people that can help you see and understand, that you can hear somebody else's story and say, you know what? I'm not that bad, right? I'm not that bad. Molly, I know the sun is a little bit in
I
your
know.
eyes.
I'm gonna move.
But let's take a quick break, a commercial break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about like how do we handle stress, and to try to change our mental attitude, because we know that many of us are, well, many people out there are living in stress and fear. So we're going to come right back. Let's see. Well, that was a quick one. Okay, so when we talk about having a mental attitude, sometimes we can start out the day with a beautiful mental attitude, right? Positive, everything's going great. And then all of a sudden, as we go through our day, we encounter situations or circumstances that will put us in a stress mode. And now all of a sudden we become negative, right? So here's the question. How has your ability to handle stress, uncertainty, and change improved as a result of incorporating positive mental attitude into coping strategies? I know for me, I put on music. I put whatever I can do to switch my feelings, right? Because the feelings of being stressed begin the self-talk, right? I'm so stressed. I can't do this. This is ridiculous. Why me? Blah, blah, blah. And you go on and on and on. And then you fall down into the negative aspect of thinking. So I either put on music, listen to something, go out for a nice walk, look at some pictures that make me smile, look at some funny videos that I have of, my family or my kids, something to really switch my feelings around. Amy, would you like to speak about like maybe some of the strategies you used?
Absolutely. For me, I go into my heart. I do a lot with breath work. I do a lot with stopping and closing my eyes and breathing deep breaths in, deep breaths out. I have done that for many, many years. And when I go from my head to my heart, things change. Things really change. And so I think that's one of the most important things. But like you, the music, and I have my sister, for Pete's sakes. When I call her, if she answers, which most of the time she won't, but since I live next door to her, I can go knock on her door or walk in. But anyway, and right away she will say, "Oh my gosh, of course." She switches it around and makes me laugh. I mean, we cackle all the time. I just love my life. We have so much fun. So, but that breath work has really saved a lot of panic and anxiety for me, and it recenters me.
Absolutely. And Molly, I know we practice that every day, right? So we know that we get ourselves in a good vibration from the beginning. So yes, Molly, how about you?
I think I have so many different levels of stress. And I even think about last night is before a big meeting, I had just like a bunch, it was stress, but it was in the form of sadness. Just some lives were lost, and, some friends lost their dads, or, a friend lost her mom, and a dear friend of mine lost her husband, and just like within 30 seconds of each other. And it was stressful because of the sadness. But when I have stress like that, I just gratitude. Like I always just go to a place of gratitude. Like right away, I'm like, I'm so grateful that our kids get to be around my parents. Like what a blessing, and what a blessing that our parents moved 90 miles closer to be near their grandkids. And what a blessing that Wednesday nights they have dinner, and not only do grandkids show up, but like their friends show up. And I'm so grateful I had this incredible marriage of 30 years that that I actually get to have real conversations with Calvin about things that matter. So I just kind of, I go to that place now, different stress, right? Even though I love Mel Robbins when she's like, it's all the same, like stress, anxiety, fear, worry, it's all the same. Stress before a race, that's good. That means that I want to perform. And so I have to go immediately to visualization and to breathing. And I do breathe in love, breathe out fear. That's always worked for me. So if I'm in a really panicky spot, and I did used to struggle in graduate school and in my early years as a young mom, with panic attacks, like just breathe in love, breathe out fear, and just, now I feel like it's so acceptable if you're at a coffee house or you're, the other day I was meditating in my car and I opened my eyes and the woman like next to me in Target just like kind of looked at me like thumbs up, like, I think that's so great. She knew what I was doing. I wasn't like, oh gosh, I'm so embarrassed that I was taking a moment for myself. It felt very empowering that I was doing that. And I love that it's very accepted. It's okay to sit and close your eyes and breathe and just pause for a minute and just get centered and grounded again. So I think for me, it depends on the situation. But those are at least two immediate things I kind of thought of that I did with two different stresses.
Yeah. And it's essential for our health and here, our physical health, because when we are, in that stress mode, it's internal. So it has to come out in our physical body, right? Emotions suppressed have nowhere to go but to come out in our physical body. So positive mental attitude can also impact our physical health. Have you noticed changes when you switch over, right? Obviously, we're just talking about that, how you switch over to getting yourself centered and do deep breathing, exercise, deep breath, and, put your hand on your heart. All these things, believe it or not, shift your mindset from the negative, from the fear, right? Because when we say negative, it's not about just what we speak, but it's about what we feel, right? And so in order to shift the feelings from the negative emotions, because, I studied the emotion code, and it's energy is always moving, right? Energy is always moving through us. And when we're feeling those emotions of negativity, they literally get stuck in our body. And so what happens is they start to manifest, and sometimes you wonder, you have a stressful day or you have a negative attitude all day, and then you come home, you're like, oh my God, I got such a headache, and it's like, of course you do. You weren't happy all day. All you were thinking about is all the problems, and you weren't thinking about the solutions. And that's truly what happens sometimes is people just in the whole day, it's every problem they have, but not one solution.
Right.
So it truly, like, we're doing it to ourselves, right? It's the talk and what we're doing, the actions that we're taking, or how we are reacting rather than responding to situations, throw us into a negative mental attitude. So, Amy, would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, and I do think that it is so important to own those feelings. And then to I know we've talked about it, but make the decision to cut it loose, like to be like, that does not serve me. That mentality, that feeling doesn't, like, I felt it, but it's going away. So I think that decision to snap out of it, to make a decision to move to the other side of fear, of anxiety, of panic, stress, whatever it is so important to be decisive and make that decision.
Absolutely. And Molly, just another little thought on that?
Yeah, I was even thinking this morning, I'm thinking my arms, and I was saying this in my head, like, oh my gosh. First of all, I forgot my Garmin, and that's just like, it's like a workout, doesn't count. And I haven't done that very often, but so I had to bike and I swam, and I was literally, my self-talk was, my arms are so heavy. Oh my gosh, my arms are so heavy. Imagine the race. I'm like, you really have to work hard the second half of the swim and just use your arms. And I'm like, but my arms are so heavy. And honestly, I caught myself, and I'm rarely like that. And I was like instantly like shifted. I was like, my arms are as light as a feather. I'm so strong. I'm sliding through the water. You know, I just like started talking to myself, and I love it because like Amy said, we just cackle at our own selves half the time. And I'm like thinking, if anyone could hear what I'm doing, and I just completely reversed it. And it's so funny because I could see the clock, right? That's keeping times on my hundreds, 200s, 400s. And I was getting faster. And it's just what I was saying to myself. And again, I'm not like that normally, but I did have a little moment today, maybe in preparation to teach someone something tonight.
So, so you have a special gift, like your sister does, because here's the question that the inner, the positive mental attitude often involves self-talk and inner dialogue, obviously, and that's what you were saying, how we can, literally actually create something that's not even there from the negative talk, right? Or again, hurt us in a sense where it can actually stop us from what we want to achieve. So I'm sorry, finish your story, Molly, because it caught my eye how you're talking about it. And okay. That was
I'm just laughing at the self-talk. And I remember reading somewhere, a long time ago when I struggled with that, if your neighbors or your husband or whoever, your kids could hear the way you speak to yourself, would they be impressed, or would they be horrified? And I'm sure there were times in my life when my family, my kids, my neighbor would have been horrified at how I spoke to myself. But it was a perfect example today. Apparently, so I could teach this here, is how it caused me to be lethargic this morning in the pool and thinking like, and in my head, I was like, what's wrong with me? I wonder if I have something going on. I wonder if, maybe I should call my naturopath. Maybe I didn't drink enough water. And then I was like, Molly Croker, snap out of it. You're effortless. This is easy. It's easy for you. You're strong. You're gliding through the water. And like I said, not only did I feel it, but I could see that my times were improving. Like usually I could see it on my Garmin, but I could see that on the clock. And I'm like, that is such great proof. It is all how you speak to yourself.
Absolutely. And Amy, would you like to add a little bit of that?
I do. Molly and I, the easy and effortless. I mean, we have said that for years, and money comes to us easy and effortless, and our health is easy and effortless, and selling homes for me is we use it, and then we do kind of, but instead of saying, gosh, this is a challenge, or this swim stinks, we talk that way about being easy and effortless. And we've oftentimes said, when you make a decision and that how will come, I think that being indecisive makes us, paralyzes us, right? It prevents us from moving forward or making a decision. But just knowing, if you believe things are easy and effortless, that's where that how comes. I'm going to make this decision. It's going to be easy and effortless. We know there's going to be not so easy and effortless in there, but I'm telling myself it's easy and effortless, and the how will come. And you know what? A lot of the times it is easy and effortless. More times than not, the majority of the time it's easy and effortless, because that's what I expect and that's what I speak.
Mm-hmm. I remember, absolutely. I remember late mentor Bob used to say, there was a story about this couple who wanted to buy a house, and they're like, we really want to buy a house. We don't know if we can. And he's like, make a decision. Like you're saying so many negative things, like you can't afford it and it's not for you and there's no way possible. But you didn't even make a decision to buy the home yet. You're literally going into like all the negative part without even making a decision. And sometimes we have to like step back and say, okay, I'm behaving this way. My behaviors, my thinking is negative, but why? Like, ask the question, why are you, going towards all the reasons why you can't achieve something, and start training your mind to go to the opposite side of training your mind to just know that whatever you can conceive and believe, you can achieve, right? So last, we're going to close it up shortly. The last words for the audience, Amy?
I would say that, just piggybacking off that abundant mindset, having that abundant mindset, knowing that there is infinite abundance for every single person on this earth. So choosing abundance over scarcity 100% of the time.
Thank you. And Molly?
Positive mental attitude. You will always win when you have a positive mental attitude, and it will just watch for the things that you'll start to attract. It's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, everyone. Absolutely, positive mental attitude for success is the way to go for sure. This is where you can reach your goals, but you have to make a decision and you need to have a burning desire. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next week on Sparking Change with Gigi. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on Sparking Change with Gigi. I hope that our episode today has ignited a spark within you to create positive change in your own life and in the world around you. To learn more about how you can become a guest or supporter, head over to sparkingchangenow.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content that sparks change in each of us and the world. You can find us on various platforms, including Google Play Store, Apple App Store, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to having you join me again next week on Sparking Change with Gigi.